live. Ooh, I'm live. Hello. So this is the first time I'm going live on any platform. I don't really know how to tell if anyone is watching. Oh, okay. I think I see something here. Hi. Good morning. Good evening. If you're watching, can you like make a comment, drop an emoji so that I know that at least one person is here. We still have about 1 minute. I'll get started at 10 a.m. I'm trying to make sure you guys cannot see my mail junks on the back. Okay, so it's exactly 10 a.m. and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, first, before I go into answering all the questions, I'm going to introduce myself first. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching right now. My name is Shida. I am Nigerian. I currently live in Houston, Texas, and I work as a project manager for my 9 to 5. I create content on the side. So, welcome. Thank you for joining. So, as the title may already signify, this is going to be a Q&A. I've had a lot of people ask me about how to get into project management, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to answer all the questions once and for all, because I feel like just going through each DMs and comments and responding to them one by one would not really be an effective way to go about it. So I just wanted to come on live and answer all of these questions. So the first questions that we'll be going through is from, oh, I cut out all of the names. It's from someone from Instagram. They said, I'm looking for a job as a scrum master or a project coordinator, but I'm finding it hard to get an entry level position in Canada. But I mean, please, how do I go about this? Also, what are the requirements to become an IT project manager? I'll be looking forward to your response. Okay, so this is actually a very good question. This person is looking to get into Scrum Master. I can actually answer this because before I became a project manager, I was a Scrum Master. I worked as a Scrum Master for Citibank for for a little bit before I got my current job. So if you want to get into Scrum Master, it's actually pretty easier than becoming a project manager. All you need to do, the first thing you need to do is take the Scrum certification. There are two major Scrum certifications that you can take. One of them is very recognized in the Scrum industry, and that is the CSM, the Certified Scrum Master certification. So it's a little more on the expensive side. It's about roughly $1,000, but it includes the training and the exam itself. So for you to take the certification, the CSM certification, you have to go through, I think it's about 6 weeks or 8 weeks of training, and the $1,000 cover the entire training and the certification itself. So once you do that, the next thing you need to do is just go ahead and work on your resume. Work on your resume, start submitting the application. Most people will tell you to go through the training, then you have to read this book and that book and like other books before you actually start submitting your applications. I would say you should not wait, because I feel like at the end of the day, um, the way you present yourself during the interview, how you're able to convince the interviewer that you are good for the job would be the determining factor if you're going to get the job or not. So what I would suggest is once you take the certification and you pass the certification, you already have your certification, update your resume and start submitting those job applications. If you're lucky, you start getting interviews immediately. Once you start getting the interviews, you um, already start to build your confidence. Yes, you start building your confidence and start gaining experience um, in the interview process. Because, like I said again, no matter how long your certification is, no matter how long your experience is, no matter how long your degree or whatever it is that you have on your resume, no matter how bulky your resume is, if you're not able to convince the interviewer that you are good for the job, there's a very good chance that you're not going to get the job. The certification is not going to matter. So the earlier you start getting into the interview process, the earlier you start building your confidence and gaining experience in interviewing, the better it is for you. So once you get your certification, just go ahead and start submitting the application. But while you're waiting to get interviews, what I would suggest you do is go on YouTube. YouTube is a university on its own. That's what I say. That's what I call it. Before you pay for anything, search on YouTube, see if you can find it on YouTube and you can learn it for yourself before you go ahead and pay anybody to teach you. So what I would suggest you do before I'm saying all of this based on my own experience. So what I did, I took the certification. After the certification, I just started learning from YouTube, watching people's day-to-day life, like what a day looks like in the life of a Scrum Master, so that um, during the interview process, I was able to convert this person's experience as my own experience. I was able to tell that person's experience as my own. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So, yeah, once you start submitting your job applications, go on YouTube, watch people's day in the life as a Scrum Master, watch videos of interview processes, like sample interview questions that comes out during a Scrum Master interview. So watch videos like that, and there are also like several videos that gives you a step by step knowledge on how to become a Scrum Master. So that is going to really help you. And like I said, I watched a lot of day in the lives, so I converted these people's experiences. Because to be very honest with you, one of the questions that I'm going to answer here, somebody said they've been trying to look for a job as an entry level project manager or scrum master. To be very honest with you, most of these organizations do not want to hire an entry level scrum master because they want you to come and help the team to stay organized. They do not want to train you. So you have to come with all of the knowledge. Maybe you don't have to necessarily be like an expert, but you have to have a sort of knowledge to be able to like help them. So they do not want to pay you to train you. So they want to hire you as somebody that is already experienced in Scrum Master. So the best way to gain this knowledge is by going online, watch people that are already Scrum Master, watch their day-to-day life, the things that they do on their normal day as a Scrum Master, convert them into your own experience, make them into your own words, and this is what you're going to use to convince the interviewer that you actually can do the job. So this is actually not a question. Um, Hi, Mujalade. No, you're not late. We're actually just starting. I'm still on the first question. So, somebody might ask that if you've not already been a Scrum Master, how would you be able to convince them, or what would you write on your resume if most organizations do not? Um, Sorry, I'm getting distracted. If most organizations do not want to hire an entry level Scrum Master, how would you be able to like convince anybody with your resume that they should hire you? Let me be very honest with you. Every single one of us, in our day-to-day life, we we have some soft skills that we already like use in our day-to-day life that we can convert into experience. It's going to ultimately depend on how you're able to word it professionally in your resume. There are things that you already do in your day-to-day life that you can transfer into your professional life. So you don't need to lie in your resume. If you're a teacher right now, you're managing students, you're managing people. They are people. So you can convert all the skills that you use in your day-to-day life as a teacher into managerial skills. So that those are the things that you're going to put on your resume. You don't need to lie. You would not even need to lie to anybody that's you worked as a project manager or you worked as a scrum master before. Just convert your soft skills into professional skills on your resume. So that's for the first question. The second question, being in IT tech support for years, but I want to transition into ITPM or Scrum. Are there prospects expecting the feedback? Okay, so as far as my understanding goes, I think a tech support, when I hear tech support, what I think about is customer service. So I don't think it's really related to Scrum or project manager. But again, there are skills that you already use as a customer service representative that you can transfer into project management or Scrum. So skills like you deal with customers on a day-to-day basis. You talk to people. That's communication skill. And if you ask anybody, the first soft skill that you're going to need as a project manager or Scrum master is communication. If you're an introvert, if you do not like talking to people, if you hate interacting with people, you need to go and look for a different career path. Project management, scrum master, it is not for you, because on a day-to-day basis, like what you're doing, 50% of your task on a day-to-day basis is facilitating meetings, um, reaching out to stakeholders, communicating with the developers if you're in the IT sectors. If you're so project management does not have to be in IT. We have to lay that foundation. You can be a project manager in the health industry. You can be a project manager in the beauty industry. Every industry actually needs a project manager. So I'm just saying developers because I'm in the IT world. So like I said, this person has been a tech support, and I think when I hear tech support, I think customer service. So as a customer service representative, you already communicate on a day-to-day basis. That is going to be really good for you. You just need somebody to write. um okay, we'll get to resume parts later, but you just need to find a way to word it properly in your resume to make it sound appealing to anybody that wants to hire a scrum master or project manager. So yeah, so you want to transition. If you're going into Scrum, first thing you need to do, take the Scrum certification. Once you take the Scrum certification, this is actually related to the first question that I answered. Once you take the Scrum certification, start applying to jobs. Do not wait for do not wait till you have like 1000% understanding of what Scrum is. Or in fact, for you even to take the Scrum certification and pass the Scrum certification, you would have already you would already need to have an idea of what Scrum is for you to actually pass it. So if you pass the certification, it means, to me, as far as I'm concerned, you're already 50% there. 50% you're already there. So once you do the Scrum certification, start applying to the jobs. Again, ultimately, you getting the job is going to depend on how you're able to convince the interviewer that you're good for the job. So the earlier you start getting the experience, the better it is going to be for you. So next question, I'm trying to, this is actually also almost the same question as the other one, so I'm not going to answer that. Next one, is it the same as being a scrum master? Okay, project management and scrum master, are they the same? No, but they are very, very similar because they both have to do with facilitation, team management, and stuff like that. But how are they different? Scrum Master, like I said, I worked as a Scrum Master before I transitioned into project management. So in my day to day as a Scrum Master, majorly what I do is just facilitating the meetings, helping to like manage the team, making sure they are following the Scrum principle. So you cannot say that you're practicing Scrum if you're not following the Scrum principles. So I'm not like super involved in the project. In fact, I did not even the last project that I worked on as a scrum master. I was not involved in the project at all. I had no idea what they were working on, what the project was about. All I needed to do was just make sure everybody was working on the tasks that they were assigned, and that's it. I facilitate the meetings. If there needs to be like a meeting between stakeholder and the development team, I'm the one that facilitates the meeting, and like I'm just on the call. Basically, set up the call, listen to the call, and sometimes I take notes. I take notes, and at the end of the meeting, I just send out the notes to everybody, and whoever is not able to attend the meeting, they get to catch up on the meeting by the notes that I send out. So that's the Scrum Master's job. But as a project manager, you have to be involved in the project. You are responsible for the project. If the project goes well, you get sometimes you get the thumbs up for the project going well. If the project goes south, you also are the end of the receiving end of the business team's rot. So yeah, you're in charge of the budget. You're in charge of the project from the initiation to completion to release, and you're in charge of making sure that the team is working on what they're supposed to be working on. You're basically managing the team and managing the projects as a project manager. So you have to be fully involved in the project. You have to know everything about the project, because if the business team has any question with regards to the project, they are coming to you. They are not going to the developers. In fact, even if they go to the developers, they are sending them back to you. The developers are sending them back to you. So you have to be hands on. You have to be 1000% involved in the project, because you don't want this one stakeholder to come to you and ask you for an update, and you're running around because you don't know anything that is going on. So you're fully involved basically, and if your company works with external vendors, for example, my company, we work with external vendors. There are some projects that we outsource to outside vendors. You're the one that interacts with those vendors. You're the one that makes sure that your project does not go over budget. If it, in fact, you don't even want to go over budget, because it does not make you look good. So yeah, Scrum Master, project management, they are different, but they have some similar traits, like facilitating meetings and basically managing the team. That's it. So moving on, the next question would be, if you have any question while we are here, you can drop them in the chat. I don't know if somebody can join live. If you, I don't know if that's possible. If you want to join live to talk, you can request. Maybe I will see that. But anyways, moving on. Somebody that said, I have taken the course already. Okay, this person asked for how to get into project management, and I told them to first go ahead and take the Google project management certification. So they said they've taken the course already. Could you direct me the next step, please? I'm kind of stuck. Okay, so if you've already taken the Google project management certification, the next thing you need to do again, start submitting. That's already on your resume. I feel like, so if you took the project management certification, the Google project management certification, I'm assuming that you maybe have a bachelor's degree. So you having a bachelor's degree, you have the Google project management certification, and some soft skills that you can transfer from your previous jobs on your resume. Trust me, I feel like you have 70% of all you need already. So once you have all of that, what did they say? Prepare your resume, work on your resume, and start submitting these applications. And I have to say this, you do not have to have 100% of what the job requirement is. You do not have to have it. This my current job. I'm going to get to the story of how I got into project management, but this is my current job. I feel like when I applied for it, I didn't even have up to 40% of the job requirements, but I applied for it anyways. And when I got the interview invitation, I was not expecting to get interview invitation from this company actually. I was just like applying everywhere. So when I got the interview, the invitation, that was when I now started preparing. In my head, I'm just like, I need to make sure I secure this position. Because for them to even shortlist me for the interview, then I just don't want to miss it. So you already took the Google project management certification. What do you need to do next? Start applying to jobs. Um, Prepare your resume and start submitting application for these jobs. So while you're waiting for the interview invitation to come in from any of these companies, go online, go to YouTube, and start reading people's experiences as a project managers, people's day-to-day lives, watch people's day-to-day life, what they do, like in their day-to-day as a project manager, depending on the field that you applied for. So if you applied for a project manager position in the health industry, you're not going to go and be watching people's day-to-day life as a project manager in the construction industry. So you have to work with somebody that is in the industry that you applied for. So go online, YouTube, like I said, the best. It's a university on its own. So go there, watch all of these videos, watch as many job interview questions as you can, prepare yourself, talk to your friends. You can have like a mock interview with your friends and just do all of that. And while you're still waiting, or maybe you might even start to get some interviews again. All the first couple of interviews you're going to get are probably just going to be for you to like gain experience and to sort of like build your confidence in talking to people. So all of those experiences, sample questions that they ask you during those interviews, note them down and start preparing, start reading about them, and just try to get better at the interview. So while you're doing all of that, if you still have some more certifications that you want to take, you can take them. I would advise that even after taking the Google Project Management certification, if you have the fund, you can take either CAPM or PMP. So CAPM is the Certified Associate of Project Management. They are very, very recognized in the project management field. So you can take those and add them to your resume. Your resume is what is going to get you in the door first. So you need to make sure your resume looks really good. So you can take the CAPM or the PMP. You don't have to take both of them. You can take either of them combined with your Google Project Management certification. But if you do not have the funds to take either of the CAPM or the PMP, the Google Project Management certification would do a lot for you, to be very honest with you. So moving on, please, how can someone be IT project manager? No, I have taken the course already. No, sorry, I'm all over the place. So, what courses do I need to take to become an IT project manager? So, if you're trying to get into IT project management specifically, if you're trying to get into IT project management specifically, I would advise that you take the Scrum certification, even though you're not trying to become a Scrum master. Take the Scrum certification, take what is it called? PMP or CAPM. Google Project Management certification also helps. If you have these three on your resume, they would be really, really good for you. If you now have any technical skill to combine with all of these certifications, trust me, you're good to go. Somebody asked, "Are you a PM? Are you PM certified, Scrum certified? What type of PM do you do? How did you learn?" Okay, kind of visual. If you're a visual learner, the best place to learn for you would be YouTube, or you can try Coursera. The Google Project Management certification is on Coursera and Udemy. There's one course on Udemy. Um, Before the end of this live, I'll try to see if I can remember the name of the course on Udemy. But Udemy is way cheaper than Coursera, but it's also really, really good and it is recognized. If you have that on your resume, it's going to really help you. And am I PM certified? So this is going to come up in the story about how I got into PM. You have to wait maybe 5 more minutes before he gets into that. I just want to quickly go into all the questions. Um, how long? Hold on. IT. So, okay. So the rest of the questions actually I can answer in the story of how I got into becoming a project manager. Can you work as a PM remotely? Yes, I actually work mostly remotely. I only go in like once in a while when I feel like my entire team is majority of them are in India, some of them are in Mexico. It's just two of us that are here in Houston. So yes, you can work PM remotely. It just depends on your company, your organization, if they want you to work remotely or if they want you to um, come on site. So yeah, I'm going to go into how I got into becoming a PM. So I actually did not start out. I didn't set out to become a project manager. I was actually a Scrum Master. The only certification I have right now is a Scrum certification. I do not have a PM certification. I do not have PMP. I do not have CAPM. I do not have any of the, even the Google Project Management certification. I do not have the certification, but I audited the course, and it was after I got the job. So how did I get the job? I took my Scrum certification, and that is PSM 1. There's CSM, there's PSM 1, and there's PSM 2. CSM is the most expensive one and is the most recognized in the Scrum industry. So if you're starting out and you're looking for the best certification to take, or the one that you feel like they recognize more, PSM would be the one, and it's about $1,000 for um, the training and the certification itself. So that's CSM. PSM 1 is about, I think I paid about $150 for the certification. It does not require any training. You just have to read on your own. You can pay anybody to train you. So the story of how I got started. So I learned about Scrum from a friend of mine. That was in December, not December of last year. Just I learned about Scrum from one of my friends, and I just decided to like look into it. I read about it. I honestly, to be very honest with you, the first couple of times I read about it, I didn't understand anything that the Scrum meant. So, but anyways, I downloaded the Scrum guide and I started reading it. It took me about 3 reads before I had like the first inkling of what Scrum actually meant. So after I understood what Scrum meant, I then read the guide again. I think I read it about 5 times before I understood it. So after reading it, I then went online. I did my own research. I read a lot of articles online about Scrum and how to get into Scrum. But because I wasn't confident, I felt like I needed somebody to actually guide me before I would be able to take the certification and able to like get a job basically. So I decided to enroll in a training. There are people out there that train people. They charge whatever amount. Some people charge $3,000, some people less, some people more. The trainer that I found was going to charge me, I think, about 1,800 at the time, but I barely made enough to sustain my own lifestyle. So I didn't have 1,800 to pay anybody. I was actually planning to pay the 1,800, but I just didn't have it. So I decided to start reading on my own. So I read, and I read for about a month. I prepared for about a month, and then I took the mock exam for the PSM. Like I said, the PSM is 150, the CSM is $1,000. Even though I knew the CSM was more recognized, I could not afford it. So I took the PSM 1 certification, which was $150. So I took that. I took the mock. The first time I took the exam, I got 100. So I felt like, okay, I'm ready to take this exam. I remember I took the exam on February 14th, which was Valentine's Day. In my head, I'm like, everybody is out there celebrating with their lovers, and I'm here sitting in front of my computer writing an exam. So I took the exam, and thankfully I passed the exam on one sitting. So I didn't have to pay another $150 to like retake the exam. It was very smooth. Everything went well. Immediately I passed the exam, I did not even wait for any other thing. I just started like, because some people, they actually convinced me that you would not be able to get a job without a trainer. You need somebody to train you. The person will tell you how to attend these interviews, what to say during the interviews that would actually convince the people to help you get a job, blah 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 blah. They will train you. After paying them for the training fee actually covers them training you for the interview as well. So once you start submitting applications, they would start training you basically for the interview. So I was scared, to be very honest. I was scared. Even after taking this, after passing the certification, I was scared that the certification is not going to be enough for me to get the job. I need somebody to train me. But because I didn't have the money, I could not like do anything about it. But I didn't allow that to stop me. I went on YouTube. This is what I was saying earlier. Once you pass the certification, just start applying for jobs, because it is what I did and it is what worked for me. And I feel like if you do it too and you do it well, it's going to work for you. So I went on YouTube. I watched tons of videos, like every single day. I watched videos of people talking about what they do in their life as a Scrum Master on a day-to-day basis. So, what did I do with those informations? I converted them into my own story. So, I watched this person's video and they said, when I get to work in the morning, the first thing I do is set up my call for my daily stand up. I attend my daily stand up meeting, blah, 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 blah. I meet with my stakeholders. This is what I discuss with my stakeholders. I converted their own story into mine. So in my resume, I before I got into Scrum, I during my NYSC, I taught chemistry, and at some point I did customer service. So all of the soft skills that I used in those fields, I converted them into project management skills. So my resume was really nice. I tried on my resume, make it look really nice. So yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. Anyways, so I converted all of my soft skills from teaching, from customer service, from working in the retail industry and all of that. I converted them and made them sound really nice and appealing in my resume. And I started submitting for, I started applying for jobs online. And like I said, I only had my Scrum certification. Okay, a little. Let me backtrack a little bit. So even though I only had Scrum certification, I had data analytics certification. I did data analytics for a while, and I worked on some projects personally. So I had already started building my portfolio. So that was on my resume. It was on my resume that I had the data analytics certification, and also I did software testing for a little bit. Even though I didn't like work in any industry with it, I just did some freelance work on the side by myself. So that was on my resume. I needed to mention all of that so that just to be fully transparent. So data analytics, software testing, and my Scrum certification. And I also have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. Those are the only things that I add on my resume. And the only other things that I add were my soft skills from teaching and from customer service. That was it. So, as I was saying, I started applying to jobs, but I did not just apply to Scrum jobs. And in my resume, I didn't indicate anywhere that I was looking a um for an entry level position. I mentioned this earlier. No organization that I have seen or know of, and from talking to other people in the Scrum industries, other project managers, no organization wants to hire an entry level Scrum Master. They want you to come to help the team to work better. They want you to come to help the team to collaborate better. They do not want to teach you how to help the team to collaborate. No, they want you to help the team, to teach the team how to collaborate. They want you to teach the team how to adopt Scrum. They want you to help the organization to adopt Agile. They want you to help the organization to follow the Scrum principles. So if you already go there and you're telling them that you're applying for an entry level position, or you're new in the Scrum industry, or you want them to train you, you already like failed yourself. So again, your soft skills are all the skills you need. Put them on your resume. Do not go there and say that this is your first Scrum job or an entry level position. No. So as I was saying, I started applying to the jobs, and I got my first interview. Um, I got my first interview. It was a bank. Again, I applied to every industry. I did not care if it was IT. I did not care if it was the food sector. I did not care if it was beauty or whatever. So the first interview I got was with a finance company. It wasn't like a bank. It was like a credit card company. I had the interview. Again, the first couple of interviews you're going to have is going to serve as an experience and training. The questions they ask you, you have to note them down, whatever you say during the interview. So if your first couple of interviews, make sure you record yourself so that you can listen back and see where you made mistakes and correct yourself so that your next interview you're going to do it better. So the first interview I had, all the questions that I was asked, I wrote them down. I knew that I flopped. Um, I knew that I flopped because when the lady was asking me questions, I don't even know what really happened during the interview, but I just knew that, okay, I'm not going to get a call back. But I didn't take that as a failure. It was a learning curve. I was new to the entire industry, so it was fine. So that was my first interview. It went well. I went back to my resume, updated my resume, and I continued to apply to jobs. And then I got a couple more interviews. I was at this point I was already brushing up on my interview skills, because prior to getting into this industry, prior to getting into Scrum and project management and doing all of that, all the interviews that I had, I mean, all the jobs that I had were retail jobs, customer service. They don't even care. They don't even want. They don't care about your skills. They don't. They just want somebody that is ready to work. That's it. So I didn't really add experience like talking and convincing people to actually hire you. I didn't have any experience doing any of that. So going through this couple of interviews um, before I actually landed the first job was the training that I needed. So all the no's that I got, all the no show, no call, no call back, because some companies will not even call you back. They won't even let you know that they've moved on to other people. Some are kind enough to let you know that they've moved on. So all of those no's, I just took them as a lesson, and I continued to brush up on my skills. And when the last interview, the interview for the first job that I actually got, again, the job was with Citibank. So when the interview came, I was like ready. I already had the preliminary interview with the recruiter, and she said she's okay with me. So I just need to talk to the hiring manager and see if they like me or not. So they asked me questions. Have you worked as a scrum master before? I did not say that no, that I have not worked as a scrum master before. I didn't say no because, like I said earlier, nobody wants to hire you as an entry level scrum master. They do not want to train you on how to train people. No, they want you to come to the company to help them adopt agile, help them adopt the scrum principle, help them to stay on course, help the project team to complete projects at the time that they're supposed to complete the projects on budgets. So they do not want to hire an entry level project manager or an entry level scrum master. So I went to the interview, and thankfully I was able to pass the interview. I got hired, not on the spot, of course. Um, it took like a couple of days, and there I was, a scrum master at big old Citibank. I had to move to Florida to be at the job. It was a very very nice experience, and it just continued to build my confidence. And here we are. Yeah, I continued to apply to jobs because that job was a contract job. It was supposed to last for only 6 months, and I knew after 6 months they might decide to extend your contract or just let you go after the contract expires. So I continued to apply for jobs, and I didn't just limit myself to Scrum. Even though the only certification I had was a Scrum certification, I did not limit myself to Scrum. I applied to every single job titles that had anything to do with project management, that had anything to do with managing a team. And that was how I landed that was how I found myself in project management, IT project, in this role as an IT project manager. So I applied to this company. I was not expecting to get a response because I mentioned earlier my resume only matched like 30 to 35% of the requirements on the job, but I applied regardless. They needed somebody with 10 years experience. I had less than a year's experience. But on my resume, all of the skills that I had acquired during the years, working as a teacher, working as a customer service representative, working in the retail industry, all of that, I compiled everything and put them on my resume. And I feel like that was the first thing that got me into the door. Then, after getting into the door, the next thing you need to do is convincing the interviewer that you're actually good for the job. So when I got this interview, it's one of the big IT companies. The company that I currently work for, it's one of the big IT companies. And actually, for transparency, I'm just going to mention it. I work for HP. And when I got the interview invite, I was shocked because I was not expecting to get a response from them. I was shocked. So, but as soon as I got it, I knew, okay, I need to secure this position. I have to get this job. So what did I do? I did, I mean, of course, the invite is going to have the name of the person that would interview you. I went on LinkedIn, look up the person that was going to interview me, and I saw that this person had about 30 years experience in this field. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's it feel already? So, anyways, but I didn't allow that to stop me. I did my research, did my research on this person, and I went to the interview prepared to answer every question that had to do with the job, and I had my own questions that I was going to ask the interviewer. So, but what I feel like what convinced the interviewer to hire me was that was when I said something about um, his own career path. And I said that he actually inspires me. And I feel like if he hires me, I want to be able to learn under him and become a better project manager. And that was it. I feel like that was what locked it in for me. So yeah, that was how I got into project management. I just found myself in there. I didn't set out to become a project manager. I was a scrum master. I wanted to do scrum. I feel like at that time, I feel like I want to enjoy the, love the lifestyle that the scrum masters live because they like they most of the days they are just like chilling. They don't really do a lot, and I just wanted that. But I love being a project manager, and I honestly do not want to. I don't think I want to change anything about it. I love being a project manager. The only thing I would want to change is to continue to grow in this role and maybe at some point become a product manager. And from there, just continue to grow in this field. It's a very, very amazing field. And I feel like um, if you get into it, it is something that you're going to love. So that's how I got into project management. Project management. But what does my day to day look like? So on a daily basis, when I get to work, the first thing I like to do is write down my to do, the things that I need to cover for the day. So currently, I manage two projects, but I just got assigned two more projects last week. So now I'm going to have four projects that I'm managing. But the only thing that is going to help you and what helps me to be able to manage all of this thing and make sure everybody is on track and every project is on track to deliver when they're supposed to deliver, you're going to need to be very organized. You cannot be unorganized and be a good project manager. That's not going to work. There's no way that's going to work together. So you have to learn how to stay organized. So, and the way that I do it is when I get to work, the first thing I do is write down my to do, and I write down um, the if I need to reach out to any team, I write down the names of the teams that I need to reach out to and what I need from them. So once that is done, I go through my emails to see if any excuse me anything came in after the last time I checked my email the previous day. So I go through my emails, I respond to the ones that needs to be responded to immediately. And if some of them I need to reach out to my team to get update from them, I get the update from them. I mean, I just note them down and I note them down, and during my daily stand up, I get the updates, and then I respond to the team that I need to respond to. So after going through my emails, I yeah, at this point it probably would be time to attend my daily stand up. And as a project manager, you don't necessarily need to have a daily stand up. Daily stand up is mostly for scrum masters, but the maturity of your team and the kind of project you're working on is going to ultimately determine if you need to have daily stand-ups or not. So, like I said, right now, currently, I manage two projects, which means two different teams. So one of my teams, I only meet with them sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week if I need any additional information from them. And the reason why I meet with them twice a week is because I feel like they are mature. They are able to like work if you assign tasks to them, they are people that that knows. I mean, if you assign tasks to them and they give you like an ETA for when they're going to complete the task, you can be rest assured that you're going to get the projects done by that time. And if they run into any issue, if they have any dependencies, there are people that would quickly reach out to whatever team it is they are having dependency on, take care of that dependency on their own. If it is something that they cannot take care of on their own, they quickly reach out to me and I step in. But the other team, on the other hand, I meet with them daily. Sometimes the only day I don't meet with them is on Fridays because my company they allow us to like work half days on most Fridays, and some Fridays we don't even work at all. So I cancel daily stand up for Fridays so that everybody can just chill out and be fine. But sometimes I even meet with them on Fridays. That's how unmature this team is, because the people on this team, you can assign a task to them. They would this For example, one of them will say, it's going to take me 2 days to complete this task. So you expect that by the end of that day too, you should have the task ready. But the problem is that if this person runs into any issue within that time frame, instead of them to take care of that issue or let you know that they have an issue so that you can quickly get on it and get it resolved very quickly, they would not say anything until the day you're supposed to meet. So for example, let's say the last time you met was on Monday and the next time you're supposed to meet is on Thursday. So this person found out on Tuesday that they have an issue. They will just sit there and not do anything till Thursday. So on Thursday, when you meet with them, when you're expecting that the project should be completed, that's when they will tell you that, oh, I had a problem on Tuesday, so I've not been able to complete the task. Okay, if you have a problem on Tuesday, why didn't you let me know you have a problem so that I can quickly take care of it? So for a team like that, you have to meet with them every single day so that you can quickly get on the problem immediately it comes up. Your job as a project manager or scrum master, one of your job is to take care of dependencies immediately so that your team is not blocked. Because if your team is blocked and you're not taking care of the dependency on time, there's a very good chance that your project is not going to get completed when it is supposed to be completed. And if, for example, your company is a company that's outsourced tasks to outside vendors, you're running at the risk of going over your budget, and you don't want to do that. If you do that one time, second time, most organizations will not allow you to do it the third time. They're going to fire you. So if you're going to have a daily stand up or not, it's going to entirely depend on the kind of projects you manage and the kind of team you manage, how mature they are. So yeah, so I was talking about what my day to day looks like. So after my daily stand up, I have two daily stand-ups, depending on the day. If it's a Monday, I have one daily stand-up. If it's a Tuesday, I have two daily stand-ups because that's when I meet with the other team as well. So after my daily stand-up, what do? I quickly go over my notes. So during the daily stand-up, I try to take notes because again, these people are I work with developers. To be very honest with you, these people are very, very smart. They are smart. But one thing they do not know how to do is stay on track. Some of them do not know how to stay on track. You just finished a call right now. You just finished a meeting right now. You assign a task to somebody right now. Trust me, if you reach out to them the following day, they probably have forgotten that they have any assigned task. So what I do during the daily stand up, I take notes. So after the meeting, I go through the notes that I take. Uh what is it called? What's the word for organize? Yeah, I organize the notes, make it look nice and professional, and I send out an email to everybody so that that email is like a sort of reminder that this is what you're supposed to be doing for this so amount of days. This is what you're supposed to be doing for this so amount of hours. Like I send out the notes. So once that is sent out, if I need to have like any meeting with the business team on my in my current company, the business team are the stakeholders. They are the ones that assign tasks to us. They are the ones that tell us what they need to be done on an application. So if I need to meet with the business team, if there's one requirement or one user story that is not really clear, I meet with them. I get the clarification, and I get the clarification. I mean, I set up the meeting with them, get the clarification, and it is my duty to pass across the message from the business team to my team, which is the development team. So I meet with them, do all of that, and if there's a project that I'm working on, yeah, obviously we're always working on a project. So I just go ahead and update my tracker, because I have to send out an update every Friday, like at the end of the week, to the business team to let them to update them on where we are with the project, to let them know that we are still on track, whether we are still on track or if we have derailed from the end date. So I do that. If there's a release coming up, we only have release in my company. We only have release once a month. So if there's a release coming up, I put together all the user stories that are going during the release, and I send it to the business team because they are the ones that are going to test it. So the business team also serve as the UAT team. They are the ones that perform all the UAT on task. So I send it to them and make sure they start testing, because it is also my duty to there's something that we call RFC. So I have to create the RFC for the release to actually go out. But I won't be able to create the RFC until the business team completes they complete UAT on the user stories that are going to go out. So I need to make sure they start working, they start performing the UAT on time, so that I can get sign off from them on time and I can submit the RFC. Because again, project management is it's a very beautiful role. It's very awesome. But if anything should go wrong, sorry, if anything should go wrong, you are going to be the punching bag, even if it is not your fault, even if it is the business fault. Like I said, I'm in charge of making sure that everything that is needed for the release is in place. But I need the business team to do their own parts on the UAT. I need them to sign off on the UAT. If they do not sign off on the UAT, I cannot request for the RFC. And the RFC takes about a couple of days before it gets approved. So if they are giving me a sign off, for example, we have our release on Saturdays. If they are giving me a sign off on Thursday, there's a very good chance that I'm not going to get the RFC approved before the end of Friday. So I need to be on their neck and make sure that they are working on, like, my team is the development team. I'm not supposed to like be managing the business team, but it's also at this point, it's also my duty to make sure they are doing their own job on the business side. So I meet with them, make sure everybody on their side is doing what they're supposed to do. And if they give me the sign up, I just go ahead and request the RFC. I meet with the finance team. The finance team also, like as a project manager, you're working with the finance team as well, to get sign off on budget, to get sign off on release. We need sign off from them for release as well, because we outsource the DevOps work to an outside vendor. So yeah, basically that's all I do during the day. If I have a project plan, I update the project plan and just get everybody on track. And did I forget to mention anything? No. So, and if it's a day that I need to meet with my boss to sort of like go over what everybody's doing. So, as a project manager, even though you're not necessarily managing these people, you're not their managers. You're managing the projects. At the same time, sometimes you're also managing them, because you need to make sure you're going to be accountable for their actions, basically. So if somebody is not doing what they're supposed to do, it's your problem. My laptop is about to die. So if somebody is not doing what they're supposed to do, their it's your duty to report to their manager that this person is not performing as much as they're supposed to be performing. So yeah, you're managing the project, but at the same time you're managing the team sort of too. So that's what I do as a project manager. What's your daily job routine like? That's what I just explained. So does anybody have any question before I feel like I've been rambling for some time now, but just give me a thumbs up if you understand at least a little bit of what I've been saying since. Are you on LinkedIn? I'm on LinkedIn, but my LinkedIn is not updated, so there's basically nothing you can see on my LinkedIn. Were there job vacancies or you were just applying? Yes. So out there, people are going to tell you what you want to hear or what you don't want to hear. People are going to, you can, I mean, a lot of people at the time said the industry is getting saturated. there are no jobs, this and that. Listen to people at your own peril. Listen to people at your own risk. They told me the industry was getting saturated and everything, but at the same time, I was able to get two jobs at the same time, like one week apart. I was able to get, yeah, and a lot of people told me that the job market was saturated. So are there job vacancies? There are job vacancies. You just have to go out there and look for them. There are jobs on LinkedIn. There are jobs on Google. So the way that I applied for the job at the time, maybe I need to like make a separate video on how to go about finding jobs. So, but what I did majorly at the time was just go on Google, type in, depending on what city or state you want to work in. So, for example, I'm in Houston. If I want to stay in Houston, if I'm not interested in going out um, or moving to a different state, just type in, if you're looking for a Scrum job, Scrum Master jobs in Houston, Texas. Apply to all the jobs. I do not care if they ask for 15 years, 10 years. They cannot come to your house and beat you. Maximum of what they will do is send you a no or not even respond to you at all. So apply to all the jobs that you see. I cannot stress this enough. Do not undersell yourself. Do not shortchange yourself. Just, yeah. So, anyways, I went on Google, Scrum Master jobs in Houston, Texas, Scrum Master jobs in Dallas, Scrum Master jobs I was in Alabama at the time, Scrum Master jobs in Alabama. I would go there, type all of that in, and I would go on, once I see the job description, see the name of the company, I will go on LinkedIn to look for the company, make sure the company is legit, and then I'll look for the company's website. So the reason why I do this, the reason why I go to the company's website is to make sure that the job is not an old one. Because if you go on Indeed, there are like millions of jobs on their websites that are actually old that the company already hired somebody for. So the jobs are no longer, I mean, the vacancy is no longer vacant, obviously. So I'll go to the company's website to make sure the job is actually still on their website. If it's still on their website, I'll apply on their website and apply on Indeed on Google if Google gives you the option. There are some jobs that if you click on apply, they just take you straight up to LinkedIn. Sometimes I find jobs on LinkedIn and I go to the company's website because sometimes LinkedIn also keeps this job for too long when the company has already hired for them. So I apply. If the job is available on their website, I will apply on their website. The company that I currently work for, I applied. I saw the job on LinkedIn, but I applied on the website. As soon as I saw the job on LinkedIn, I just went to their company's website. I typed in the title of the job, it brought it up, and I submitted my applications. My application. Yeah, applications actually, because I applied for two jobs at the company at the same time. I applied for a senior Scrum Master role, and I applied for the IT project management role, and they hired me for the IT project management role, and that's how I got here. So I feel like I've been rambling for very long. Thank you guys so much for joining. We have just 2 minutes before the end of the live video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys for joining. If you still have any other question, if you have specific questions you want to ask me, you can go ahead and send me a DM, or yeah, just reach out to me anyway. Reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, and we can talk. Thank you guys for joining me. This was really fun. I don't know. Nobody is saying anything. You guys should say something in the comments. If I did a good job, tell me I did a good job so that maybe we'll do this another time. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the live now since you guys are not talking. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys on Instagram if you came here from Instagram or TikTok. Bye.